Today we're doing a team report, which I call Chandelure-Xerneas. Very original. And I also called it Option 2, if we're going back to the original name. Anyways, Chandelure, Xerneas, Hydreigon, Stakataka, Landorus, Rillaboom is the team I ultimately decided with. The Landorus can also be Gyarados, by the way. I do like Gyarados as well. I'm still deciding between the two, but that's up for you to decide. This is the Gyarados spread if you want to try using it. And I think I would go for Taunt over Crunch, but I was thinking, oh, Crunch could be good for Lunala, Calyrex Shadow. Also, I forgot to mention with the team, I hit top 30 with it. I can't really prove that right now. However, I do have the... Hold on, I need to sign into my account. I do have the replay showing me getting into top 30 if you guys want to see that. I may as well play it if I can find it, the exact one. So yeah, it happened about a week ago. This was the team. So I'm just going to show this replay of me getting into top 30 and I'll just go over the team building process. So the first one is Chandelure, Series 8. I decide at the end of it, I'm running this Calyrex Sun team with Venusaur and Torkoal, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And I go, Zacian's one annoying motherfucker. So I say, you know what? Chandelure could be really good because I get the Infiltrator to Oko Zacian pretty much guaranteed. And I get a hit of Mungus hard too with the Overheat Oko if it's not Aqua Berry. And they can't protect behind a sub because of the Infiltrator, I get to bypass it. So I went, wow, Chandelure could have a niche, but I was comfortable with my Sun team with Venusaur, Calyrex. I just got top 100 on ladder with that and just stuck with it. Now that we're coming back to it, I went, well, I may as well try it. And Xerneas wasn't actually the second member. What basically happened is I went, Xerneas and Chandelure, they look cool together. I'll put it aside for now when I was continuing with other stuff at the start of Series 10. Yeah, we're in that series. And then I'll go into what is really the second member, which is Hydreigon. So, my friend on Discord, BDog Platinum, we were making our teams for Players Cup 4, and I end up qualifying for top 16 of North America region, and I can do a team report on that, probably will, when this video is posted, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. But he really likes Hydreigon, and he goes all the way into round 8 in the Swiss round of Players Cup 4 with Hydreigon before he loses to Dewabafet. So I went, maybe Hydreigon has a niche, and I went, what does it have that I like about it? And I went, one, I really like the dragon typing because he resists fire, water, and grass. Pretty nice. And this is a huge niche because I was comparing it to Moltres Galarian. 98 speed. Pretty much perfect. Obviously being over 100 would be even better. But just having 98 speed is incredible because I want to be able to outspeed Urshifu by 1 speed point, which is awesome. So, what else do I like about Hydreigon over Moltres? I like the move coverage a lot. Moltres Gawa really only has flying and dark coverage. The one thing I like about Moltres over Hydreigon was the foul play, but basically Hydreigon I thought outclassed in practically every single way because you levitate, you get the ground type immunity that Moltres has. You resist Alecki, which is pretty huge, and Moltres is weak to that shit, so obviously I'm thinking, wow, Hydreigon's pretty good. I might as well try testing that too. Boom, second member. And I went, how do I cover up its weaknesses? It's weak to Bug, Ice, Fairy, Dragon, and I'm blanking. I know there's one more. Fighting. There might be another one, but I think it's just 5. And Stakataka covers 3 of those weaknesses of Bug, Ice, Fairy, and it resists Dragon typing. So I went, wow, this makes a really good type synergy pair. My speed is awkward, of course, but it's not like I need that. So I just went, wow, we'll try Stakataka and Hydreigon. Boom, third member. And I realized, hey, these are both weak to fighting. Guess what's not weak to fighting? Chandelure, Ghost type, and Xerneas. And I went, hey, look, I have a team now. I have a solid core to build off of. And then I went, well, basically I have all my offensive pieces because all of these do offensive damage. and I went, well, I may as well find support mons. And I naturally was thinking, well, I should have Rillaboom. It will be good into the Torn Ogre matchup. So Rillaboom pretty much came on instantly. And I was experimenting with other stuff. You don't see it in the team builder, but my original 6 slot was Entei. And I didn't really like Entei because I wasn't running Scarf, which is the common good set, or I wasn't running AAV either. I was running Safety Goggles with Roar, and I went, I don't like the damage it's doing, and Safety Goggles doesn't come up enough for me to like it on this team. And then I went into Volcarona, which I liked the redirection it provided, but didn't necessarily help, to be honest. I just felt like there's better to do. I think I was having problems with Landorus somewhat because I had the Sludge Bomb and whatnot. And there's other issues. Urshifu Water was super common, and I didn't want to rely solely on Rillaboom to deal with it. There's other reasons why I didn't like it. And then I went to Urshifu, and I was thinking, oh, I like Scarf Urshifu because I outspeed Nihilego and Landorus. And this ended up working out pretty well for me because I went all the way to top 100 on ladder. This was the spread I used. My friend VGC Rishi was suggesting that I try going for a 2-5-2 because that way I have a way better roll of killing Tornadus and without Rain, because I was always thinking, oh, I'll get Tornadus Oko anyways because I kill the Tornadus and Rain. With the Surging Strikes, then Rillaboom can just Wood Hammer, so they're forced to switch, or I just take 2 knockouts for free basically. So that's how that went. However, I was losing a lot to Lucky and Rillaboom, which made me just deter away from Urshifu. So I went, what do I need? And I realized Zacian fucking sucks. I hate Zacian so much. Well, I don't hate it. I don't like facing against it. The design isn't bad. A mon I truly hate is Amoonguss. It's so ugly, yet so good competitively. Landorus at least has somewhat of a decent design. Amoonguss, it's just not that original to me. Looks ugly, annoying as hell to face, has so many good items it can go for. Spore always annoying. Amoonguss is just a bitch, okay? So I was thinking Zacian. Zacian's really annoying because it has close combat to hit the Stakataka and Hydreigon, has Behemoth Blade to Oko Xerneas, and Chandelure is okay, but if I threaten it with Overheat, then they just swap into Incineroar most of the time and they absorb it, which is still kind of an issue when I'm facing this Zacian team, but I have multiple coverage moves on it, so I mean it's more manageable. But I realized I should probably have an Intimidator. I didn't want Incineroar. I figured I could try testing it, but I didn't end up going with Incineroar because I just went, Manchal is going to just Oko it with close combat, or it's going to do a lot of damage, and then I basically just get snowballed by Calyrex Shadow teams because, I mean, I have some coverage, but I would be really bad with the Chandelure. I just felt like it wouldn't work out, and also being weak to Torn Ogre teams, because, I mean, most of my stuff gets dumped on by Water Spout. Hydreigon can resist it, Rillaboom's okay, but I fit, like, oh, I should have more, which is why I went for Gyarados. And then with Gyarados, I hit top 50 on ladder, and then I went on my losing streak. Then I made that up, but I tried Landorus this time, and then I ended up getting top 50 with Landorus. Then I went on another losing streak, and then I went back with this team to top 50 again, and then I did even better by making top 30. On my third attempt, though, I was using Jackson Finch's Calyrex Shadow team that you can find on CK49's channel, and I really liked that because it dealt with Zacian so well. Why, you'll see in the team report, this does have answers to Zacian. Zacian's still annoying. Always. Zacian will always be annoying in my eyes, and even though I have a good amount of coverage for it, it's still not enough, really. So, yeah, that's basically how I went. So, I'll go into the spreads now. Hopefully that was detailed enough. As you can tell, unscripted video. Let's go. But the mons are cool, so I think you'll enjoy it, regardless. I hope so, at least. So, Chandelure spread was originally just a 252, 252 modest nature, and what I liked about Chandelure with the 252 was I was able to get an Oko onto the Groudon in most cases in the sun. You still get a good Oko chance with the Chandelure, it's just a lower roll, and they can use significantly less special defense EV investment in order to maneuver around it, maneuver around the Oko, but it's not like I'm expecting to Oko Groudon all the time anyway, so is what it is. As for this spread, what ended up happening is Chandelure would always get 2-hit KO'd by Behemoth Blade from Zacian, so the spread I decided on was, let's see if I can make it a 3-hit KO instead, so I added all this bulk into Chandelure instead. And you'll see here, this is what I found to be really interesting. Ah, shit, I misspelled it. Chandelure. I'm just going to this bulk one. And can't Dynamax Zacian. Imagine that. Are you guys looking forward to the more than likely Dynamax GS Cup? Type that in the comments. Mixed bag for me. Would rather not go doing that. So. How did I go about this? I think I went 252 defense. And you'll see here. Really high chance to 2-hit KO. But if I just add a little bit of HP right here, it was like 68, and I had 188 at the time. I think it was the same exact roll, yeah? See, even lower chance, so you don't even need to invest all of this in defense. So, get some HP out, and you get better EVs, I would imagine, out of it, yeah? Because isn't it roughly the same, if not the same? Close enough. So, the reason why you're thinking, well, the roll still isn't that great, even though you have this spread right here, well, that's because I did the calc in grassy terrain, and look at the roll now. Hold on. I have 244 defense. I was about to say, that's not right. Such a low chance to 2-hit KO me. You'd think, oh, it rounds up to 5, only 5% chance, but it's actually a 4% because it truncates down the number, so we got that going for me. If I find any good replays, maybe I'll do some later. I have some with Shadowrex team, if you want to see me play Jackson Finch's team. Ooh, maybe I could find a game real quick. No, that's not the game. I think it was this one. Surely it's this one. This guy got wrecked, if I recall correctly. Yeah, this is the game. So, Bulk EV just helps me survive the Zacian better, and that way if I miss an overheat, or if I miss an overheat, or they switch out into Ensign or something like that, then I just get multiple chances. So I personally prefer the bulk on Chandelure over the speed. And also I function better in TR because I can expect somewhat fast Incineroar, so I think the speed, with the 0 speed IVs quiet, I can just expect to outspeed, or underspeed Incineroar and Trick Room. I did go modest nature with the speed, just 0 speed investment, because sometimes I do like outspeeding Incineroar outside of Trick Room, so that's something I still need to figure out. Just look at this. I know it's kind of a hyper offense team and I can get punished for it really badly, but it just makes me love this Calyrex Shadow team because I can just wipe through opponents and I don't have to think sometimes. That's why I like hyper offense. It's good for laddering in my opinion. Good for easy laddering sessions because I don't have to think as hard. So, boom. I think I was around top 40 with this rating, and then just going into it was it was right here. I lost some games along the way, but then I climbed back up, and then this got me into top 30. I got 29th exactly. Can't prove it, but you know, but the elo is pretty high. I feel like you could believe me that I got 29th at the time of this recording. This happened around a week ago exactly, I think. when I hit 29th, but then I just decided, oh, I'll take a break after going on this losing streak because I really don't want to do the climb again. Even though I got a decent rating or ranking, whatever, just decided not to. So, next is Xerneas. How's the video? Probably a little bit long. Why am I talking about this? Hopefully I'm not boring you. Blah, 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 blah. Ramble, ramble, ramble. Anyways, oh, one thing about the HP number, why I went 68 specifically, just because multiple of 16, I feel like if you're watching this, you know, but multiples of 16 get better recovery off of leftovers and grassy terrain, and then multiples of 16 minus 1 take less weather chip. Just wanted this number specifically because I get better terrain health, and that probably helps me with my roll against the Behemoth Blade with Zacian. So that's why I went for this specifically. And then the reason why I didn't guarantee the Oko or guarantee it be a 3-hit KO onto Chandelure is because, one, it's a low chance anyways, and if I did want to go to the EVs, then I would be missing out on this bump number right here where I get the 2 extra stats, and I like that because I get better rolls onto Groudon. And I had games where the Zacian would live on 1 to 2 HP, and they weren't cognizant of me setting of Chandelure overheating through their substitute. That made me mad. I went, oh, I miss the special attack so much, so I went for the bump number. So that's why I prefer this specific spread, but you can mess around with 252, 252 if you want. I think this spread's better, but it comes down to, do you want quiet nature 0 speed IVs, or do you want modest nature 31 speed IVs? I think it just comes down to that. Next mon. Okay, same rationale. This is why I brought up the HP number with the grassy terrain, because same thought process here. I wanted the good grassy terrain recovery, so 224 multiple 16, boom, number. And if you notice, I didn't make a mistake on this EV spread with the defense, and I'll get to that later because I'll just explain everything else. So 52 speed. So if I set up a Geomancy, then I'll have 252 speed. However, if Regieleki uses Electro Web on me, then I'll still be able to outspeed all base 100s that all max speed base 100s with this speed stat, which is why I go through the lower speed. I could go higher, but I don't have an Alecki to support me really, so it just makes more sense to me to go for this. Also, since I have Trick Room mode, functions better in Trick Room. Can be annoying at times, but overall I like the spread, and I get to invest more in bulk. So anyways, keep going on. So this will allow me to live 2 Moonblast from a 252 Timid Geomancy boosted Xerneas. I'm Geomancy, so I live 2 Moonblast basically from Xerneas if we're both boosted or if we're both not boosted. But if it's boosted, I'm not boosted, I'll still be able to live a hit, so, you know, pretty good. And also this number specifically, I could go slightly lower, but this guarantees me to live a Water Spout from Mystic Water 252 Modest Kyogre, which is why I have this number specifically and why the special defense is so high. Now, this is the mistake. I thought I needed Bold in order to live Behemoth Blade from Zacian after Intimidate, so yeah, I lived the Behemoth Blade from Zacian if its attack is neutral. So I actually could do 2 things. I could Haze with the Chandelure, get rid of that get rid of the attack boost that Zacian gets upon switching in, so that's an option. Or I could just hard swap out Intimidate into the Landorus, then live a hit that way. So either way works, we live Behemoth Blade from 252 Jolly Zacian. But what I realized later is that I could literally do this, and I get the same number, right? No, I have to do this, yeah. Get the same number with this spread, so I still am able to live the Behemoth Blade. But if you notice, this was 163, now it's 167, so I'm dealing more damage. I still live the Behemoth Blade. The only difference is, rather than being guaranteed to live Water Spout from Kyogre, I only have a 6% chance of being O-Code without a Geomancy boost. So, I mean, big whoop. However, the reason why the spread stays is because I already EV'd the Xerneas this way in my game, and I don't have the money to change it, so that's why it stays here, because I want to play realistically if I were to do an online event, or an in-person tourney if those come back and we somehow have Series 10 rules before Series 11 with what I'm assuming to be Dynamax GS Cup. So, next mon, Hydreigon. I mean, I guess I can go back to Xerneas real quick. I explained the spread, makes sense. Explained my EVs, boom, moveset. Don't really need to explain it. I feel that it's self-explanatory. Paul Ruiz used Substitute over Dazzling Gleam, which I did think was cool, but I don't really have that great of a support for it. Sorry. The only difference that it's going to make is that I can't be statused with the Substitute up. Not being able to get Spore would be amazing, and I wouldn't be able to get Faked Out either. So I do like Substitute Xerneas, however, the reason I like Paul Ruiz's Substitute is he can use Pollen Puff with the Amoonguss and constantly heal behind the Substitute. I don't have that option, which is why I personally like the Dazzling Gleam better. And also spread damage is just nice to have. That way I don't need to prioritize one target. So that's the Xerneas. Hydreigon comes next. So this spread right here. So I actually have 16 leftover EVs because with this HP and this defense, after an Intimidate, I live a close combat from an Urshifu, and then I can just fire back with a Draco Meteor if their Choice Scarf can outspeed me, for example. So with the spread, I'm able to outspeed Urshifu, but in the off chance that their Scarf or if they lead a lucky Urshifu, then easy Intimidate. Urshifu can't KO me with close combat. Probably with the double up of E-Webs in close combat, I guess we could, but it's going to be a roll, and it should be in my favor, so there you go. The special attack gives me a really good roll of OHKOing the Nihilego. We have a 93% chance of OHKOing Nihilego after an Earth Power, and then the bulk with the HP and special defense ensures that we live a Meteor Beam from the Nihilego, which is why I like the spread. 252 is mandatory in order to outspeed the Urshifu. However, one thing to consider is you could go Modest Choice Scarf and Modest Choice Scarf 252, or you could go Timid, invest more in special attack, whatever. But I think you'd get more bang for your buck with Modest Choice Scarf. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Urshifu is running Scarf, I've been noticing, but I'm thinking with the amount here, I could probably just invest more, go 252, 252, really no problem. Still outspeed Urshifu, OHKO it, and that way I don't have to worry about E-Webs. With Mystic Water, Urshifu can just outspeed it even after the E-Webs hits, or if I'm getting it paired into a Choice Scarf Urshifu, then I'll still be able to outspeed it, OHKO it with Draco Meteor more than likely. This, you only need special 20 special attack, by the way, to OHKO non-bulk Urshifu with Draco Meteor. However, Mystic Water, people make it super fucking bulky, so I think they live now. This was very beginning, so the spread could likely be adjusted, but is what it is. It still works for me. It's really good into Palkia, Lunala. Earth Power is incredible into Stakataka. It's good against Zacian if I could get it off, which is another reason why I would like Choice Scarf, because, I mean, Hydreigon is not really going to function in Trick Room unless I'm facing Calyrex Shadow teams. So, Choice Scarf can get it reliably outside of Trick Room, use it, Earth Power into Zacian, do a good amount of damage, so I think Scarf would be better on this Hydreigon. But Earth Power mainly for Stakataka, Steel types, Dark Pulse for Calyrex, Draco Meteor for the OHKO onto the Urshifu, because I need that. So, that's the Hydreigon spread. Next mon, Stakataka. Okay, this spread looks a little bit odd because you really only need 252 HP, 252 attack, and you're going to live everything that you're able to live naturally. You live a Moonblast, you're not able to live 2 Moonblast from Geomancy boosted Xerneas no matter how hard you want to EV. You have to be Psychic Seed and Psychic Terrain to be up, I believe, in order to do that. Or you have to be really heavy into Sassy, but I think that even then, Sassy Stakataka can't live multiple hits from Xerneas. So, I just say you can't really make up for the special defense on Stakataka, sorry. And safety goggles. The reason why I do safety goggles is for Xerneas if they want to pair it with Volcarona or Mungus, when I can just reliably get the Xerneas KO'd with a Gyro Ball, which people expect safety goggles Stakataka now. At the time it wasn't common, but I mean, when at the time it wasn't common, I'm talking about first 2-3 weeks of the format starting. Even now, though, safety goggle stack is still really good, so I mean, people expect it, but it's still good. And also, I did get top 30 last week, so this team is still relevant. The only reason it wouldn't be relevant is that Pelipper team is being used a lot on ladder, and it's being really used on high ladder. I'm taking a break, and that team report came out 1 or 2 days after I decided to take a break, so you can still manage to deal with Pelipper Zacian, but it's a lot harder because I really like using Chandelure against Zacian teams, and the Pelipper really just rains on my parade, quite literally. So, Stakataka moveset, I went for Rock Slide, Gyro Ball. Those are obvious. I went for Rock Slide for Volk, Gyro Ball for Xerneas, and it's also good into Zacian. I like the body press. I'm not going Lonely Nature. I really like the defense stat that Stakataka has. So just abusing body press with the defense boost, especially with this much investment, just seems worthy. And you could go Wide Guard, Protect, or Trick Room here. Wide Guard I still think to be useful. You can hold off on it and you can Wide Guard later. You can bluff people into thinking you don't have it. Wide Guard, block a P-Blades. I believe that happened once or twice and it worked well in my favor. But you don't need Wide Guard though at the same time, because some people will say, oh, you obviously have Wide Guard on stack, why would you lead it otherwise? So you can bluff them and say, no, I'm going to Trick Room, haha, and then you set Trick Room on them, and then you win that way. And the last option would be Protect. I think Protect is good, blocks Fake Out, makes sense to me. And you don't need to really have Trick Room on Stakataka, especially if you have Chandelure, which is going to be immune to Fake Out, and you have Rillaboom to support it, so people can't double into you unless they lead in DD Calyrex. But if that were the case, then I would just work around it, because if we're not going to lead in DD Calyrex and be able to KO Hydreigon unless they have Draining Kiss, which is very uncommon on Calyrex Shadow, so you really get a reliable way of just dealing with Calyrex this way. So there you go. And that's the moveset pretty much explained. The reason why I go for Wide Guard over Protect and Trick Room, said don't need Trick Room, Chandelure has, and it's reliable for me of setting up. I don't want to bring Chandelure to every game though, but I do want Trick Room up, so Chandelure comes very often and I usually do appreciate it, but there's probably 10 to 20% of games where I don't want it, but I'm sort of obligated to have it just so I can set up Trick Room for my stack to be enabled. So maybe you want Trick Room, but Wide Guard I just find to be the most useful because there's so many Scarf Ogres out. Just spam Water Spout, Origin Pulse. You may as well run Wide Guard and then just keep spamming Wide Guard, Wide Guard, Wide Guard, because you have unlimited Wide Guards to protect yourself. It's not like Protect where if you Wide Guard once, the next one has a chance of failing. So, you know, I personally like that. So that's why I go with Wide Guard over the other options. Protect is good, but you can't protect yourself from Urshifu, ha ha ha. That's why we have the spread to help with that at the very least, because this is what the spread does. After an Intimidate, you live a close combat from Jolly Urshifu, which I found to be pretty cool. You only need 124 in order to live it, but the reason why I went 132 is because if I get a kill, I get the 1.5 times multiplier, and I want an even number. I don't want an x.5 number, for example, because then it's just going to truncate down and I lose on the stat being rounded up. So by having an even number, I'm essentially going to be getting 2 stat points opposed to 2 extra stat points. I just think it's way more worth it in my favor just to do it this way rather than having 188 attack. I don't think the difference is enough. And that's the Stakataka spread. Pretty simple Stakataka. I do think the spread is relatively innovative, so that is up for you to try. But maybe you want the more HP so you can live some special hits more. But I think the spread is pretty optimal, in my opinion. Okay, Landorus. So this was me just going off of Picolytics. I saw the spread of the damage calc, and it was 212 or 252 something, and then I just decided to modify it a little bit. This lets me live Surging Strikes from Urshifu, Jolly 100%, 252, and Adamant 156 I live, I believe, as well. You have really good rolls to live this stuff, so you don't need to worry about it. I don't know the exact rolls, but you're basically guaranteed to live Surging Strikes from Urshifu, and that's what this much defense and HP is for, in my opinion. The 180 HP and the 28 special defense specifically is because you live Geomancy boosted Dazzling Gleam from Xerneas, but you won't live Moonblast. But let's say you have Hydreigon Landorus. We're not going to Moonblast Landorus, for example. They're 100% going to be Dazzling Gleam, because why would you not? So what can be nice about this is you are given the opportunity to crit with a Sludge Bomb. You can poison with a Sludge Bomb. You can Rock Tomb if you want to lower their speed, and then if you have your Xerneas able to set up, let's say you get Xerneas on the field, Hydreigon Xerneas, Dazzling Gleam, Hydreigon's dead, Landorus lives, you Rock Tomb the Xerneas. You can protect the Xerneas, you turn with Landorus, so you either get Rillaboom in for free, or they just decide to kill Landorus, so you either pivot with Landorus or you die. Rillaboom then fakes out the Xerneas, you set up your Geomancy, boom, you're faster than the Xerneas, and you likely are able to sleep after that. So that's why I like that 28 special defense, just a good scenario to happen. I don't need specific calcs for every special attack. Earth Power is going to do a good amount, and Stakataka, which is why I like the special spread more. People run Payback though, and Brutal Swing and whatnot for Calyrex Shadow now, but we have Gyro Ball hits super hard into Calyrex. Dark Pulse Oko's if it's not Sash, Shadow Ball Oko's not Sash, Woodhammer does a good amount, and Grassy Cloud to pick it up the consecutive turn if I don't die to my recoil. And then Geomancy boosted Xerneas KOs Calyrex. So we have plenty of answers to where I don't need to worry about where I don't need to think about using Payback. If you don't want Rock Tomb, you could use Protect on Landorus. You could also use Protect over U-Turn. I like Sludge Bomb because I want to have a solid end game against Rillabooms and also hitting Fairy types. And it's also good against Whimsicott because that's still an issue. It's not an issue for the team, but it's nice to have coverage, extra coverage against it. And that's why these two moves are mandatory, and I personally did these two because I like the pivot with U-Turn somewhat. You will see that Rillaboom doesn't have it, but I thought with Landorus it would be good. And what I like about Rock Tomb is I can lower the opponent's speed, which can help Xerneas set up a Geomancy. But also, think about it, I'm in Trick Room, right? Let's say Chandelure sets up Trick Room and Rillaboom dies or something like that, but I have Stakataka and Landorus. I could Rock Tomb the Stakataka, for example, and then now I no longer need to worry about a speed tie because I'm going to be guaranteed to move before Iron Ball Torkoal, because apparently that's a thing now I'm hearing. I don't think it's common enough, but I heard about it, to underspeed Stakataka. But I also win the Stakataka the speed tie mirrors, and I get a body press over Stakataka. So, in my book, I think that's why this is the best moveset for Landorus, at least for my team. It varies team to team with Landorus movesets and spreads and whatnot, but that's the whole point of team building in general. It's up to the creator, and I think this is the most optimal. And I guess I could go into the speed stat. It's nothing special. It's just to outspeed my Rillaboom, which is 116, but if anything goes 117, then I get to outspeed that as well, which is why I didn't invest any speed in special attack. May as well just win some sort of speed creep war potentially. Rillaboom, pretty simple spread. This is just a bump number, get 2 stats instead of 1, see? And standard moveset, Fake Out, Grassy Glide, 100% mandatory in my opinion, unless you want Choice Band Rilla, but I think Fake Out is really good on Rillaboom. I would 100% have it. Wood Hammer I think is also necessary on Rillaboom because I want to hit Kyogre because it's often paired with Serena, and I don't want Drum Beating because even though I have Rock Tomb on Landers, the team's still relatively Trick Room based, so I just think it's better in my favor to have Wood Hammer. But you could experiment with Drum Beating, it could be very good. So bump number, attack, then HP and defense, live Behemoth Blade from Zacian. HP and special defense combined lets me live 252, Geomancy boosted, Moonblast from Xerneas. And then the reason why I have, then you can vary with this, you could run less attack, more speed, and whatnot, but I like the bulk personally. You could run less special defense because the situation of me getting Moonblasted by Xerneas doesn't come off that often, if really much often at all, so if you want you could lower the special defense a little bit. And that's my Rillaboom spread. I didn't mention the high horsepower, but high horsepower just good into getting good damage off into Stakataka. It will live the high horsepower, but I mean you're gonna put it in a good range to get KO'd following turns, and just great coverage to have. It's so good into Xerneas, it's good into Nihilego, it's good into Zacian. You get a solid chunk into it. At least 40 to 50% into Zacians, maybe even more than that actually. I'm not 100% sure, but it does a good amount. I had a game against Borgie, I can look into that because I do remember that coming up. If I can even find him. Oh, there we go. So, switch sides. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I think it comes up this turn. No, it's this next turn, yeah. So, he's at minus defense, I'm minus attack. So this will be doing neutral damage into the Zacian. 66%, and I get a high horsepower, because obviously we're not going to expect that, right? Look at Stakataka tank that. 60%. So maybe it's a 252 attack, 252 speed, but 60 raw damage, just neutral high horsepower. That's good. That's good damage into Zacian with the Rillaboom. I just think the high horsepower coverage is too good to deny on Rillaboom, which is why I use that over U-turn. I value the move coverage typically more than U-turn or pivoting, but I got all the coverage that I need with Landers, so I went, may as well use U-turn. I don't need any other coverage than these two moves, honestly. So that's why Rillaboom has high horsepower, U-turn on Landers. And that's the team basically. Hopefully you enjoy testing it, and hopefully I explained it well. If I went too fast, then tell me that in the comment section if I actually post this video, which I think I will be posting this video if I can have my friend help me edit, because I am very new to YouTube and I have no idea what I'm doing and I suck with computers. So, comment if you liked the team report, if you found the mons interesting. Hopefully I inspired you a little bit with your own team building, got you to think a little more creatively, and also could try out the team on Showdown. I will see what I can do leaving the Pokepaste in the description, or you could just move around the video, take these mons right here, figure out the spreads. Videos right here, may as well. If I don't do the Pokepaste, that is. I probably will and should, but maybe I forget. And I think that's the end of the video. Yeah, may as well just end it here. So, bye, and I will try coming with my NA Top 16 PC4 report after this. Where do I go now? Is it this? I think I fucked up. Okay. Where do I go, actually? There we go. There we go. Okay. Now I end it.